Hi everyone, welcome back to the Pot Smoker's Bible. My name is Zion. I'm the author of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the prophetic book of Zion, where I get my name and authority. It comes from the Ketuvim, or Old Testament, of the Christian Bible. I use the King James Version of the Bible to put together the scattered bits and pieces of testimony from the prophets of Israel, and it became the Book of Zion, a book of instructions as to how to bring God to earth. God being those who from the heavens came, that is, the great. So, in order to publish the Book of Zion, I had to write the Pot Smoker's Bible as a commentary, because the Book of Zion is written entirely in Bible verse. And today, I'm reading from the 17th chapter of the Pot Smoker's Bible, which contains the 14th chapter of the Book of Zion. It's called My People's Transgressions. And the last time that, in my earlier episode, Part 8, I started to tell you about scream therapy. You guys, if you're depressed, this one's for you. Okay? So I'm going to start where I left off. Scream therapy is the result of my healing process. The gray helped me relive and release the bound energy in my mind and body, or at least begin to. I'm not done yet. I relived each painful moment and healed each trauma by expressing the emotions that I had been repressing. I cried, I screamed, I talked out each thought and emotion felt in the moment I was traumatized. And one by one, I regained the emotional energy bound in the memory of that trauma. Now I don't feel any need to scream, cry, or talk about that pain. That doesn't mean that I don't still feel echoes of the pain, but I accept what happened. I understand its ramifications to my life. I can remember with only slight emotional response, as opposed to the truly debilitating state I was once in. Scream therapy isn't a cure for emotional illness. It's a useful tool in learning to accept what society has done to us. The only true cure for emotional illness is to remove from society the means by which mental illness occurs. It is a moral issue. We are mentally ill because society allows other people to abuse us. Society must become a place safe for the innocent and not the guilty. Mental illness is caused by immoral abuse of the innocent and the subsequent repression of the emotional trauma associated with it. Only when society safeguards the innocent will mental illness improve. It is the underlying immorality of society that teaches my people to sin. We are mentally ill from immorality. We are immoral because society breeds immoral behavior. It glorifies it. Media in all forms promote bad behavior on the basis that it sells. My people sin and suffer because of the ills and sins of society. God, little g, stands up to plead the cause of their people. They will be the judges. They will gather the elders of society and the elite and judge them first according to their deeds. And of course, they're not so innocent. They are guilty of the following: A. Neglecting the poor. B. Stealing from the poor. C. Acts of physical abuse against my people, i.e., the poor. D. Grinding the faces, which I think means that there is no true relief for the poor, no help, and more cause of poverty, making their lives impossible to bear. Uh, George Floyd comes to mind, grinding the faces of the poor. Police brutality. Black Lives Matter. Zephaniah 3:18 to 20 becomes Zion 14:52 to 54. I will gather them that are sorrowful for a solemn assembly, who are of thee, to whom the approach of it was a burden. Behold, at that time I will undo all that afflict thee, and I will save her that halteth, and gather her that was driven out. And I will get them praise and fame in every land where they have been put to shame. And at that time will I bring you again, even in that time I will gather you. For I will make you a name and a praise among all peoples of the earth, when I turn back your captivity before your eyes, saith the Lord. Zephaniah 3:18 to 20 is perhaps my favorite Bible passage. It is at the heart of everything I do, and it is the true reason I did not commit suicide. Zephaniah promises that God will gather those who endured the worst and award them with glory. I will gather them that are sorrowful for a solemn assembly. The gray will gather together my people who suffer, both the priesthood, which would use marijuana and drugs, and those who suffer poverty and inequality, for they are my people. All who are sorrowful, you who suffer, are the reason I have endured since 1979. To gather you to a solemn assembly, to witness first contact with our ancient creator gods, those who from the heavens came. No one else on this planet deserves more the right to see aliens descend from heaven to meet you. I suffered to become able to end our suffering. This assembly will be the campout planned in Isaiah 54. Everyone who decides to join in our bid for freedom will gather together in some location yet to be determined. They will witness first contact as the people of Zion stand up to contest the war on drugs as foretold. The great our gods will be our God in truth. They will come to justify us and to end our suffering. Their ships will descend to protect their children from the enemy. They will be irrefutable proof of the righteousness of our cause. The descent of the gray is the descent of God. They will judge the world. Their descent to earth is Judgment Day, and they have already judged us innocent. When the gray oversee judgment between the people of Zion and the governments of the earth, all of our suffering will end. The truth of our heritage and purpose will not only exonerate us permanently, but it will elevate us to the status of most sought after commodity because we have access to alien everything. The people of Zion will be instructed in their duties as ambassadors and priests representing the galactic interests and all dealings off world. We will learn to untap potentials and become professionals at diplomacy and the use of higher brain functions. Once we are trained to do our intended work, we will advance humanity into galactic membership. That is the true glory of Zion. The planet Earth, known as Zion in galactic circles, is already being admitted into the galactic social network. The arrival of the gray on Earth, Zion, signals our entry into the greater galaxy. Well, it's actually intergalactic. It's not just our galaxy. It's several. Mhm. It is has become we have become acceptable to all 12 species, allowing entry. When the gray and the representatives of the remaining 11 species land on Earth, every lie and false claim of society about the people of Zion will be proven false. Our shame will be reversed into glory. The fact that aliens choose drug users over every other human ethnic group proves our value to society. How can anyone say we are evil when God says that we are good? And most telling of all, in a male dominated society, a woman was found worthy of God. When Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed, it was because, other than Lot, there was no man righteous enough to warrant saving. But a woman has now been found worthy of all the gods. The arrival of the aliens will end the war on drugs. We will use the testimony of the prophecy of Israel to prove to all humans that drug users are the future priests and interpreters of aliens who grant our world a future of equality on an intergalactic level. Without drug users, there is no way for the alien races to communicate with us. Marijuana is essential. Other drugs provide enhancements if used properly. My people are, for lack of a better analogy, diamonds in the rough. Marijuana makes us telepathic. Telepathy makes us gray. We are the living link between God and humanity. Because of this basic truth, our shame will be changed into glory. Even if all of our sins were real, we would still be the creation of the gray, a link to humanity. Our captivity will end. It will have to in order for Earth to enter the intergalactic society. The gray will give us dignity beyond our wildest dreams. Which brings us to Isaiah 9, 2 to 5, which is Zion 14, 55 to 58. The people who have walked in darkness have seen a great light. They that dwell in the land of the shadow of death, upon them hath the light shined. Thou hast multiplied the nation, and not increased the joy. They joy before thee according to the joy of harvest, and as men rejoice when they divide the spoil. For thou hast broken the yoke of his burden, and the staff of his shoulder, the rod of his oppressor, as in the day of Midian. For every battle of the warrior is with confused noise, and garments rolled in blood. But this shall be with burning and fuel of fire. Isaiah 9, 2 to 5 depicts the moment my people realize the truth about themselves. The people who have walked in darkness hath seen a great light. My people are known as being dark. Our clothes are dark. We hide our activities in the dark, so none can see us as we buy and sell our drugs to each other. Our overall mood in public is dark and brooding, but at this moment, the darkness gives way to the light of truth. For me, that moment was the first time I realized that Isaiah 54 was about me. The awe and blinding light of that realization left me speechless for about a week. No words would come out of my mouth. Literally, I was so awed by my election, and so it will be with my people. And that's where I'm going to end. The moment of divine revelation is like the ignition of a star. The truth is so bright that it blinds the mind and tells the body to take time for the desperate mind to realize the salvation. As the darkness of despair is transformed into the righteous glory. May the gray watch over you, guide you, protect you, keep you from all harm, and teach you right from wrong. May you be worthy of them. May your thoughts, words, and deeds reflect truth, good, and light, the unicorn way. Find your joy and pursue it. Make that your happiness. See you soon in Zion. Know I love you. If you use drugs, do so with pride. Later. Never say goodbye.